Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about the entire crypto market. So sit back, relax, and before we fully jump on into this video, I do just want to ask guys, could please leave a like on this video. It does help the channel grow immensely, and of course I always do greatly appreciate that. Now overall, on the 24-hour span, we are still seeing Zilliqa printing millionaires up to 17 and almost a half cents. Now, we are going to be talking about Zilliqa and addressing it, but look at the entire crypto market. I mean, altcoins are absolutely killing it right now. On the 7-day span, we are seeing massive figures, and this is only just the beginning. When we are talking about the altcoin market, I told you guys to watch the total 2 closely. Check out the total 2. It's printing right now. It is almost above that massive resistance point. It's trading above it slightly. We've been seeing candle wicks above it. I am watching this closely. Remember, this is on the weekly, so, pullbacks can happen. Things could rapidly shift. Similar to that candle going back here to, July 26th. This is the weekly candles. This is where I do believe that we are. I honestly think that when we are talking about the current market structure, we are about to see a massive shift in the altcoin market. Right now when we are talking about what's to, be expected, I honestly see this candle coming down and testing this bottom figure at around the 20-day EMA. That's that green line right here at around roughly, it's currently $1.13 trillion. But check this out. I think on this next major impulse up, we're going to see at least a $2+ trillion market cap for the altcoin market to be tested. Now, I'm not saying that this can't go higher. I honestly do believe that this will. I think that we are going to most likely see around the $3 to $5 trillion level being tested exact. Of course, I'm going to be watching this closely. I think that this could actually kind of range on, and we could actually go much higher. But again, I'm watching the total 2 very closely because even during the 2017-2018 bull market, so let's actually address this and let's go back here. So during this time back here, we had impulses. We had that nice pullback during the summertime as well. It was actually more so like the fall time. But this was something very, very similar to what we've seen just recently within the market, because we actually did see the summertime pullback, but it wasn't as deep as, our summertime pullback I should say 2021, not this year. But when we are talking about the fib levels here, going off of the high point off of this to the low point where we did test, we actually seen a major breakout event, which, took us above the 4618 a little bit. We kind of ranged on it slightly and with, some wicks above it. But ultimately, this was a major run, followed by yet another run, which led us to the all-time highs throughout the altcoin market, which was above the last fib level. Now, I will say this, when we are talking about the overall structure here, things are looking very good from the macro viewpoint on the total 2. I'm actually very excited for this because when we are talking about the 2017-2018 bull market, I honestly see us around, this time frame back here during the, months of roughly March and February of 2017. So we have a long journey ahead of us, and honestly, if we are talking about that long journey ahead of us, that is going to be the journey to like $3 to $5 trillion in total market cap for the altcoin market. Now, all while I am watching the total 2, like I said, I'm watching altcoins breaking out, hitting some major resistance. Right now, currently, Zilliqa hitting that 17.5 cent resistance point. I'm watching this closely for a major break above that point. I think that when we are talking about the significance of this level, this is where we do, see if we are going to see a rejection off of the 702 to have a correction, or if we're just going to smash above it and go to all-time highs. I think that when we are talking about altcoins right now, we are seeing major altcoin rotation showing us exactly what to expect along the board for a lot of altcoins. Now, again, we have to address their Bitcoin price charts because the Bitcoin price chart is the one that is really showing us the printing. Right now, we are at the 786 level. This is where most, I would say most rejections usually happen at around the 786. So I'm watching to see if we could actually break above this level to test the all-time highs. We'll most likely break above them. XRP also looking pretty good. It's tightening on this nice little level between roughly support at around currently 72 cents to around the 92-cent zone. If we could break this is multi-year resistance. I've been addressing this multiple times, but ultimately the real question here is, when is the Bitcoin price chart going to break? And I know that this looks a little rough. Let me remove a lot of the stuff that is on the chart, and we could actually kind of address the fib levels that we really want to be back into. So again, here we have those all-time highs. This goes back to 2017, 2018. Let's address this real quick, and let's go off of the major lows. So right now, what we really want to see is a break above, currently, let me make sure that this is on the bottom of this candle, is a break above this major level of currently the 5,911 sat level. This is where we will have that major breakout event, but ultimately I'm watching the 200-day EMA at about 2,933, which is this line here. It's a little bit, when we're talking about the resistance levels, it's actually around like 3,114, but this will give us that clear, validation that we are in a massive alt season for XRP. I think that time is coming. We are seeing a nice little, sideways momentum. Usually what follows is a major, breakout event similar to what we seen back in April of 2017, which led to a major high on the Bitcoin price chart. It's a very similar structure that we are kind of trading in right now. I mean, ultimately speaking, if we're talking about going back to December of 2014 all the way to around like roughly March of 2017, this looks like a massive pattern being repeated from, again, the 2018 structure to now. So this is like a multi-year sort of tightening on the Bitcoin price chart, which is going to lead to a major breakout event. Same with XLM. XLM is, sitting right below that 24-cent zone, really preparing for that next major breakout event. Similar structure on the Bitcoin price chart. This is, having a little bit of a nice impulse off of those lows. Currently trading around the resistance zone of the 10-day EMA. I'm watching XLM and XRP closely. As you guys do know, they move very close together. Now also Hbar. Hbar is at a little bit of a resistance point. They are all almost at resistance points. Even Zill is at a resistance point. I know that we have officially broken out on Zilliqa, but again, we are at resistance at around the 618. Hbar is at resistance currently at around the 20-day EMA. I do believe that this level will be broken, but we really want to see a nice impulse on a lot of these altcoins. But ultimately, we want to see a lot more strength opposed to Bitcoin on these price charts. Right now, similar structure to what we did back here. We have that first little impulse. Overall, this is our, all-time high impulse, followed by a second little impulse, but it is a downward trend that will ultimately be broken up to a nice upside. Now, if we are talking about this, again, don't use bars graphs just for, I usually use them just for visual representation. If we're talking about the current, structure of this market, this will lead us to, overall a nice new all-time high pretty much on this chart. But it's a very similar structure that we are kind of trading in right now, going to a nice little uptrend. But ultimately, we should be breaking out by around the April timeframe on the Hbar price chart, which I've addressed multiple times. So with this, I'm looking at some highs to be tested, more so this 4618 up here at about 3,866 sats. This is our golden era on the Bitcoin price chart. Similar to the USD chart, I do have a golden area, but this is where we really want to be at. This is where we will most likely top out at on the USD chart. Now, let's talk about some leading factors in this market. So I told you guys yesterday to watch the dollar closely, and ultimately we are seeing a nice move on this price chart. Check this out. We're seeing a rejection off of this bottom structure, and I'm hoping for a little bit of an impulse. I know that this is not, bullish for us, but a nice impulse to retest resistance followed by one last major low, which will, have a nice little impulse followed by the multi-year bear market will bring this entire market to a nice structural view. It'll bring us into a nice alt season, a Bitcoin season as well. So this is what I'm watching closely. Major indices looked pretty rough today, but the market is still not closed yet. Bitcoin looks very strong opposed to, indices. Right now, I have been watching Bitcoin closely because we are seeing a little bit of a rejection off of that resistance zone. On the daily span, you can really kind of see it. Here you guys have it. So, we came down, retested this point of roughly 46.7K. It's not too bad of a level to actually retest. I'm hoping that we kind of repeat this process that we did back here during October. I told you guys this is basically where we will see Bitcoin season. A nice break above the structural view of around 48.6K to head to 50K plus will be welcomed, but we might see a little bit of a correction down to about 45.2K, almost 45.3K, just to test, support, get some liquidity, and then go on a major tear. So I am watching Bitcoin closely. There's a lot of things that are very bullish about Bitcoin. For an example, I don't know why this is reloading, but it's all good. Bitcoin is trading at 48K, and throughout its entire history, there has only been one other time that the percentage of supply that hadn't moved in over a year was at this level. September 2020. Absolutely incredible. And here we have percent of supply last active 1+ years ago. Check out 2020. Here you guys have it. This is, where we were at these levels during the, impulsive year run of Bitcoin. Again, like I said, this is telling us a clear sign. When we were talking about September of 2020, check this out. This is, why we are, really looking forward to seeing a massive bull run ahead. So here is September 2020. If we do the same repeated pattern, it will most likely be off of this October time frame. Let's check out the bars graph here. So here's, roughly, it was like a nice impulse during this time. It was like around this point, where we had that nice little impulse off of the 200-day EMA. But this took us to that initial all-time high during April. If we repeat the same process from our current structure, I'm just telling you guys right now, this is why I have been calling for some high figures on Bitcoin. But this should take us on a nice run to around like roughly 120 plus K. Now, I'm not going to say that we're going to repeat the same exact process identically, but I'm just saying if we are talking about the actual structural view of Bitcoin, I really do believe that we are going to see some nice figures being targeted. 120K is my high point. I usually like to go off of the 4618, which is the 200K mark. It just all depends. But, if we are going to repeat that 2020 timeframe, who knows how high we are actually going to go. All I know is that right now, Bitcoin looks extremely bullish off of the overall factors leading behind it. More so, the supply last active is at some high figures, and this is very bullish. I think that when we are talking about Bitcoin's multi-year run, this year is extremely different, and we could be in an extended bull run. And our time frame to top out is around the fall time frame, similar to 2017, 2018, and even 2013, 2014. But I am watching altcoins closely because we are so close to a breakout on this chart, and this is everyone's major viewpoint on why you should be watching the Total 2. The Total 2 is going to give you a clear picture on if your altcoins are about to go parabolic or not. Altcoins are at major resistance zones, so I am watching them very, very closely. And on the daily chart, you could really kind of see that breakout event on ZIL, and we are at that resistance zone. So with that being said, I hope that kind of clarifies a few things. My update on, of course, the overall market. But with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on. If you guys want more free content, you guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.